They say it is rare to attain millionaire status from humble beginnings. But Dr. Stanley Uzochukwu has defied the odds and gone a step ahead to attain billionaire status by the age of 40. From humble beginnings in Jos Plateau State, Nigeria, Dr. Stanley Uzochukwu has gone further to become a global figure and an inspiration to present and future generations. Inspired by his mother, Cecilia Uzochukwu, who did all sorts of petty trade, such as selling akara, ice cream, pastries, and more, just to raise him. Stanley has established a reputation as one of Nigeria's biggest entrepreneurs. Stanley, who turns 40 today, is the chairman and CEO of Africa's fastest growing conglomerate, Stanley World, which comprises Stanley Oil and Gas, a leading marketing and distribution company of petroleum and gas products in Nigeria and beyond. Stanley Mart, Nigeria's biggest luxury brand. Stanley Media, Nigeria's most sophisticated media brand. And Fast Chow Africana and Continental, a world-class restaurant in Anambra State with branches in Awka, Jos, and Suleja. Stanley World is renowned as Africa's fastest growing conglomerate thanks to the innovative ideas and vision of Dr. Stanley Uzochukwu.
Stanley is a young man that is well brought up. His humane, his humbleness, his clarity, and his sense of what he wants to achieve was fundamental. And I want to say that indeed, if we want to begin to talk of role models in our country, Stanley is a clear example of a Nigerian role model.
In a bid to redefine luxury, Dr. Stanley Uzochukwu built the Delborough Hotel, Lagos, a hub for great minds and global actors.
You know, I think one of the most abused words today in this part of the world is luxury. You hear people say all manner of things, luxury home, luxury this, luxury. The Delborough has come to redefine that word, luxury. You know, if you've had the privilege of staying in some of the top 5-star hotels around the world, the Dorchester, the Four Seasons and all, the Delborough has come to redefine hospitality, bringing that personal touch to it. The Delborough was built by Casso. Casso is the largest facade building company in the world. They built most part of the Heathrow Airport, major projects around the world, the Kigali Stadium and all. This is their first project in Africa. They built the whole building was constructed, the facade was constructed in Istanbul, everything, and they sent their guys here. There are people here for installation. They were here for over 12 months. The building was drawn, the architectural work was done by a Nigerian young man, architect IK of ABI Group, and we connected with the Casso, the designers. They put their touch and built everything in Istanbul and sent their guys here for installation. They built the facade, the fence, the gate and all. And for the interior, we partnered with some Italian companies, with some Turkish companies and all, a blend of all of them, you know.
This edifice has hosted notable dignitaries such as former Presidents Olusegun Obasanjo, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya, and John Dramani Mahama of Ghana. It has also played host to the President of the Benin Republic, Boni Yayi, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Gaston Alfonso Brown, the Vice President of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima, and other reputable figures such as the Executive Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry and Meghan.
We had lots of challenges, but to the glory of God, we thank God that we've gotten it right. We've had lots of people come in here, and when you meet people that are very exposed at that level, come in and they tell you that they are very, very impressed, then you know you've done something right. So that is it for the hospitality.
With a strong vision of transforming communities across the globe, Stanley Uzochukwu has served as a voice for widows, internally displaced persons, orphans, physically challenged persons, and prison inmates in Nigeria through his philanthropic works.
We do a lot with the prison outreach. We do a lot of prison outreach. One that was very touching for me was one of the days where I think to celebrate my daughter's birthday with the inmates, Suleja inmates, and one of the young men came and tapped me and said to me, he said, "I've been here," he said, "I did nothing just because of 50,000. That was a very touching incident for me. I immediately asked the location GM, I was there with the GM of the location, and I asked him to please get a list of the people that are here with all the minimal offenses and all. And they did that. We did not just only donate foodstuff, drugs, and all of that to them. We ensured that we set up a system, got lawyers, and they swung into action to get these people out of detention. And we didn't just stop at that. We continued, got them, trained them, mentored them, empowered them to push them into the society.
His vision and drive are a huge inspiration for present and future generations. Dr. Stanley Uzochukwu is the perfect role model for every Nigerian youth.
He came to see me when I was the president, and I told him that, young man, with this your vision, look, I need to make young billionaires, and you should be one of them. And somehow it's like a vision, and he carried on and invited me to be here. Stanley, you've done well. I thank you so much. I appreciate what you're doing. You're a good example of what we want our young boys and young women to do.
With a keen focus on inspiring the Nigerian youth population, Dr. Stanley, in partnership with Access Bank, organized the Access More with Stanley Masterclass in 2019, a program aimed at mentoring and nourishing young Nigerian entrepreneurs. He has also partnered with the United Nations Development Program and the federal government to train and empower 2,000 Nigerian youths through the Jubilee Fellowship Program in 2022. His vision to nurture young entrepreneurs has transcended the borders of Nigeria and crossed over the Atlantic as he was invited to speak at the prestigious 500 Global Business Leaders Summit at Liberty University in the United States. A keynote address during the 2022 matriculation ceremony at Nigerian University and a convocation lecture at Anchor University are part of his moves to educate young Nigerian minds on the right path. He's a recipient of several awards, such as the Investor of the Year at the Sun Publishing Awards 2023, Guardian Nigeria's Top 50 Value-Driven CEOs of Excellence, a national honor conferred on him by the government of Anambra State as the commander of Anambra State CAN, and he sits on the board of the governing council of Nigeria's premier private university, Nigerian University, and a member of the board of directors, Unizik Business School, amongst others. Despite his achievements, Stanley Uzochukwu has held on tightly to his belief in God. He's an exemplary Christian, evident in his interaction with staff of his companies.
I always say to young people, there can be no prosperity without spirituality. So the God factor can never be underplayed. We want to return all the glory to God.
The hours of 7 to 8 a.m. are devoted to the worship of God in his conglomerate. He is a strong minister of God's word and credits every of his successes to God. Stanley has been exalted by his mentors for his humility, dedication, and commitment to service.
The young man we are celebrating or come here on his vision, Stanley, could be my 5th son if I have child every 2 years. But I'm going to tell you the story how Stanley come to me. Stanley, did I get your permission? Thank you. He permitted me, and I'm going to tell you that story. Please listen to me. I conclude now to ask you, how did I meet Stanley? I go to Villa. I see this young man. He always come close to me. Now I say, nah, this boy is not 419 boy. I'm telling you truth. I avoided him like a plague. He tried to come very close to me. I didn't know him. I was with Chidi. in his house the other day. He said, somebody mentioned Stanley. He said, where is the boy coming from? Who is he? I don't want to deal with people I do not know. So I kept and I told him that was what I did initially. But please, young people, listen to me. That's why I'm talking to you about principle. Listen, this is not a political gathering. If we have gathered here to inspire the young people, give me a few minutes to talk to them. Listen to me. Stanley, each time we meet, will like to give me money. And that's why I was afraid of him. Why should this young man give me money? One day, I came down from Nigerian Hotel, coming by the step. Stanley said, Stanley, kneel down. Just lay hands on me. Just lay hands on me and say a word of. I said, Stanley, get up now. Let's go to. He said, no, do it here. I said, please, let's get to the car. He said, please do it here. And I just felt I couldn't do anything. I laid hands on him. I said, Lord, this young man, there's something bubbling inside of him. As we were talking, I saw a hand enter my back. I heard it. I thought he was taking money from my pocket. Please listen. Stanley stuffed 50,000 naira in my pocket. I enter motor, my car, going to the airport. My head was spinning, thinking, where is this boy coming from? Why should he give me money? What did this all about? You know, I thought about all of this. It wasn't long. A boy that could be my fifth son became my friend. Stanley became my friend because he warmed himself up to me. He was not coming to me to take money. He was not disturbing me financially. And I became his friend. And I started talking to him. I felt something was getting excited of what he wanted. I said, Stanley, I'm inviting you to Lagos. Come. I took Stanley to show him few things, to humble him. I took him different places. About 8 or 10 of different operations I have in Lagos. I said this one started in 1980. This one was 1982. This one, I went to Ikeja. I went to Agege Motor Road, show him old Sinjeta that we took over. I went to show him different places. I said, so when you go back home, you now know what you are thinking about. The important thing is that friendship was born. Please listen. You know, we have culture that are dead here. Culture of show of money. That's why I took Stanley permission to do this, whether I should do this. I never dash people money in public. Because you are embarrassing me. If I want to give you money, I put it in a pocket and give you. One day Stanley called me. There was this young man that used to help him. He used to supply diesel to Julius Berger. That young man died and he needed some money. If I can introduce him to First Bank, whether they can do business with him. He didn't ask me to give him money. I said, do you run account with First Bank? I said, send me the statement of your account. And I'll tell you now, Stanley never asked me for money. Many of you believe I'm very stingy. Yes, I'm very stingy. I'm one of the most stingiest person in Anambra because I worked hard for my money and I don't throw it around. So I have value for every 1 naira I spend, but I look for something that is important. Ask Stanley. Stanley told me when he saw a lot in his account, he opened the phone fell out of his hand. I wired 150 million naira in his account. This was several years ago. 150 million naira. I said, do whatever you are going to do, return the money to me. But please be careful. I sat Stanley down and talked to him. I said, there are ways you are going, don't go that way. Listen, life is how much you can impact people's life. If it's only one person, you can make a difference in Anambra State. Stanley didn't return that money until the 2nd year, but he returned it in full. And we didn't go to court with it. And please listen to me. I didn't write any agreement with him. He could call me the following day and tell me, sorry, you didn't give me any money. For many of you who think I am very stupid, I've impacted people's life. For some of you who do not know, we are not here to advertise Stanley, but if you want to know, I feel very proud that Stanley today is a billionaire, but I shared in that success because I impacted in his life. And I wish you can change the way you are thinking. Hopefully, somebody can see something that is motivating you and give you a helping hand. God bless you.
The Downtown Institute Nigeria and the world at large celebrates you.